think that we are fighting in our own way. I mean, we are living a different world because of the impact from the women 2 or 3 generations ago. And I think that our generation and the generations to come kind of owe it to the trailblazers who's made sacrifices, so that we can see progression. And I think it's important for us. I think in some aspects we've become slightly complacent. And I think it's important for myself and other people who are spearheading these movements to really encourage women that there is more than the narrative that they settle for.
I agree. And that's why I like speaking to Letitia and hearing that you're fighting for that. And I think we need more people who's doing the work that you're doing, especially with your journey. Like for me, even though you're a woman and I'm a man, I'm inspired by people like you because it makes me want to go out there and continue to make a difference myself, not only for men, not only for women, but for everyone. Because I feel that what you're doing, what I'm doing, and what so many others are doing is what's going to push the world forward. So, how does it feel for you to know that you're going to leave your imprint on the next generation and future generations to come?
My motto to Rain is to walk as if every step you are taking is about to make an avalanche, because I believe that we are all here to change the world. So I'm just doing my part and hopefully inspiring others to do theirs.
Um, so, for those who may not know, tell us where this fire, where this passion, where this determination comes from. Give us a little bit about your upbringing, which eventually led you to this path, Letitia.
Okay. When I was about 7 years old, Terrain, I remember having a conversation with one of my family members. My parents had never been together in memory, my memory. And I remember asking a family member, why aren't my parents together? And I was told in a roundabout way that my birth was the reason for my parents' divorce. And that was traumatizing to me. It changed the way that I viewed my mother. It changed the way that I viewed my father. And it changed the way that I viewed myself. Here I was, an innocent child, but I devastated my parents' relationship. And that is a narrative that I carried for a very long time. As a result of that, I struggled to love myself fully. Both of my parents remarried, and both of their partners made it very known to me that they were not interested in raising me. And as a child, you feel that energy. I felt neglected, I felt unwanted. And as I grew up, if it wasn't me, my behavior, acting out for attention, I was looking for love. And I met this man when I was 14 years old who was twice my age. And he took me underneath his wing. He showed me love. So I thought. And I felt like I had been rescued, but I was literally going from the pot to the fire, and I didn't know it. Um, Within 6 or 7 months of this inappropriate relationship with this grown man, he started abusing me. And he used my story. It was something that I was very hurt by. Like, it was my narrative. Like, my parents don't love me. I have nowhere to go. That's how I felt growing up. And, as a teenager, everything is catastrophized anyway, right? So I told this story to him, and he used it to control me. So he used to give me money. I felt like, I was, here I am, this young child, and I've got this grown man taking care of me. And I remember the first time he put his hands on me, he choked me. And I had enough sense then that this is not what a relationship should look like. So I cut it off. I went back home to my mother's house, and it was turbulent events there. And I eventually got a letter from a lawyer saying that I was no longer allowed on her property. So I had nowhere to go. I was not even 18 at the time. And I moved in with this man who I later married. And the abuse was consistent. It escalated as time went on. So it was like choking here and there. He would barricade me in the house so that I wouldn't leave. He tried to set me on fire numerous times. And I think my breaking point was when he took a knife and stabbed me. And when I left, I had nowhere to go. My family probably felt threatened by him. Um, and I spent months living in a homeless shelter until I got on my feet. And funny enough, Terrain, I actually worked in law enforcement at the time. And I was terrified of letting anyone know what was going on because I come from a very small island. Like I said, I come from Bermuda, 65,000 people. If something happens to you, everybody's gonna know. And I didn't want people gossiping about my personal life. So it was stuff that I held on to for a very long time. And even after leaving, it, the burden of my experience kept me in a dark place for a very long time. You think by walking away, you have an opportunity to start your life over, but the narratives that I held, I wasn't worthy because I ruined my parents' relationship. I wasn't lovable because the only person that loved me was somebody that would abuse me. And for years, I carried that, which impacted my actions. I started drinking a lot. I was very promiscuous. I was self-destructive. And it wasn't until I was in a relationship with someone and I ended up getting arrested for their behavior that I was actually faced with the decisions that I had made in life. And at that point, I hired a coach. And that was transformational for me. I had been to therapists, I had been to psychiatrists, psychologists, and I had never in my life, through seeking help, felt understood. But my coach, it was a different experience. And it wasn't about me just sitting down and talking. It was about me taking action. And it was about me taking control of my life. Whereas before it was easy to sit as a victim. My parents probably didn't love me. I was stabbed by my husband. I didn't realize that that was actually taking away my power. So working with a coach allowed me to get my power back. And that really fueled my desire to help other people. Because like I said, I've been through psychologists and psychiatrists and never having someone on the other end of the coach that really could truly relate to me. And knowing the beauty and the benefit of coaching, I was just drawn to being able to represent a small group of women. I classify myself, Terrain, as a self-contained hurricane. I am a big personality. I have a lot going on. I won't be silenced anymore. And I rub people the wrong way. But my clients, they rub people the wrong way. And we meet in the middle because I can understand who they are. And I think representation is important. It's not just about me being Black, it's about me being a certain kind of way, a strong kind of woman that is not going to be shoved into anyone's box, and being able to stand in my authority and be able to help someone else is so powerful to me.